Buying a car should feel like a smart investment, but some cars are financial disasters. These cars may look good on paper, but in reality, they bring endless problems, sky-high repair costs, and rapid depreciation. Today, I'm going to tell you about the 10 worst cars no one buys, according to Consumer Reports. And trust me, some of them will shock you. Many of these cars break down before they reach 50,000 miles, and others are so unreliable that even mechanics can't save them. Watch until the end, because the car that tops this list is being discontinued for a reason. Ford Bronco. The Ford Bronco is built to conquer the wilderness, but owning one is an adventure you'd be better off avoiding. It may look like the perfect off-road SUV, but under the hood, there's a disaster lurking. The biggest issue is reliability. Owners of the 2021 to 2023 models have been plagued with issues ranging from frequent recalls to serious mechanical failures. One of the worst is a cracked fuel injector, which can lead to a fire. Imagine worrying about your car catching on fire. That's not the peace of mind you'd expect from an SUV built for adventure. The problems don't stop there. Many owners report transmission issues, noisy engines, and V6 valve train issues that degrade performance. The Bronco may look powerful, but when the engine is sluggish and the transmission is slipping, it's not nearly as cool. The interior, which should be solid and premium, instead creaks like a tin can, and the materials wear out too quickly for a car in this price range. And if you think that's all, here's another. Fuel economy. Between 25 and 30 miles per gallon. The Bronco guzzles fuel like an old-school muscle car, making it expensive to drive on a daily basis. It may look cool on the road, but behind the wheel, it's a frustrating and expensive experience. Jeep Wrangler. The Jeep Wrangler is a legend in the off-road world, built to conquer the most challenging trails. But for everyday driving, this SUV is one of the worst options. The steering is the main problem. Many owners describe it as vague and unpredictable on the highway. The car constantly walks, making long trips tiring and even dangerous. The stiff suspension, designed for off-roading, feels harsh and uncomfortable on the asphalt, turning even small bumps into a harsh and unpleasant ride. Reliability is another red flag. The Wrangler has been the subject of frequent recalls for fuel system defects, faulty airbags, and even structural cracks that raise serious safety concerns. Despite its apparent robustness, owners often encounter electrical problems, corrosion, and constant repairs. Fuel economy is also disappointing. An average of 13 liters per 100 kilometers, 36.5 mpg, which is shockingly inefficient for a vehicle of its size. This may not matter off-road, but in everyday life, constant refills are a real pain. Nissan Frontier. The Nissan Frontier has been around for years, but instead of evolving, it's stuck in a cycle of outdated design and constant mechanical failures. Even after a long-awaited redesign, it still lags behind its competitors. Older models are especially problematic, with widespread transmission failures and constant engine issues, leaving owners frustrated and with thousands in repair bills. Fuel system failures are another common complaint, leading to unexpected breakdowns and expensive repairs. If that weren't bad enough, peeling paint and poor build quality make it clear that durability wasn't a priority for this truck. Even after the redesign, the ride quality remains stiff and uncomfortable, and the interior feels dated compared to other mid-size trucks. Fuel economy is another disappointment, averaging 25 miles per gallon, making the Frontier one of the least efficient trucks in its class. While new models have improved slightly, the Frontier's reputation is already tarnished. When a truck has a history of serious breakdowns, mediocre comfort, and outdated technology, it's hard to believe it's a solid long-term investment. Jaguar F-Pace. The Jaguar F-Pace looks like a premium luxury SUV with a sleek design and prestigious branding, but once repairs begin, that luxury quickly turns into a nightmare. One of the main issues is the infotainment system, which is constantly glitching. Owners report frozen screens, sluggish controls, and software glitches that make even basic features annoying. And that's just the tech. Under the hood, things are even worse. The F-Pace is known for its excessive oil consumption. requiring frequent top-ups well before scheduled maintenance. The fuel pump is another weak point, often failing prematurely and requiring costly repairs. Electrical problems are nothing new for Jaguar, and the F-Pace is no exception. From faulty window lifters to complete wiring failures, constant electrical breakdowns make owning this SUV more of a headache than a luxury. Safety suffers too. There have been several recalls due to faulty brake systems, putting drivers at serious risk. If you were hoping that Jaguar had improved its reliability, the numbers say otherwise. Jaguar ranks 29th out of 32 manufacturers for reliability, well behind rivals like BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. Volkswagen Jetta. The Volkswagen Jetta is often positioned as an affordable, stylish sedan, appealing to those who want German engineering without the high price tag. But looks can be deceiving, and the Jetta's reputation for endless reliability issues makes it a risky investment. One of the biggest problems is the transmission, especially in the 2019 to 2021 models. Owners have reported complete transmission failures and sudden engine stalls, sometimes on the highway, making this car a serious liability. Electrical problems are also all too common, with Jetta owners experiencing faulty wiring, infotainment glitches, and broken power windows. Safety is also a concern. Airbag failures have led to major recalls, raising concerns about occupant protection in a crash. Even the interior, which should be a highlight of a car in this price range, is disappointing. The materials feel cheap and flimsy, and the buttons, knobs, and trim pieces wear out too quickly. This is a car that may look decent on the dealer lot, but after a couple of years, it starts to show its flaws. Land Rover Range Rover Sport. If there's one thing Land Rover is known for, it's unreliability, and the Range Rover Sport is no exception. While it carries the prestige of a luxury SUV, the reality of owning one is far from appealing. One of the biggest complaints is the cost of servicing. This SUV is incredibly expensive to maintain, with even basic repairs costing far more than they should. Constant electrical problems are practically part of the ownership experience, with owners often encountering faulty wiring, infotainment glitches, and unresponsive gauges, leading to frustrating and expensive visits to the mechanic. The air suspension system, which should be one of the model's luxury features, is another weak point. When it works, the ride is smooth, but when it breaks down, and it does, owners are faced with repair bills that run into the thousands. Add to that engine and transmission problems, particularly in the 2006 to 2008 and 2013 models, and you have a car that spends more time in the shop than on the road. At this price, you expect not only luxury, but reliability and durability. Unfortunately, the Range Rover Sport doesn't live up to those expectations. For most luxury brands, a high price means high quality, but for Land Rover, it just means higher service bills. Fiat 500L. The Fiat 500L was intended as a quirky, compact alternative to large SUVs, but instead it became one of the worst purchases you can make. The 500L was riddled with problems from the moment it was introduced, and Fiat quickly discontinued it. One of the biggest failures was the transmission, especially in the 2014 to 2017 models. Owners complained of rough shifting, jerky shifts, and complete failures that left them stranded on the side of the road with huge repair bills. The engine was equally unreliable, often stalling at random times, making the car not only annoying, but dangerous. Crash safety is another red flag. Despite being marketed as a practical family car, the 500L performed poorly in crash tests, raising doubts about how it would handle in a real-life accident. That's enough to put you off buying one, but the problems don't end there. By 2021, Fiat had finally pulled the plug on the model due to low demand and overwhelmingly negative reviews. Mitsubishi Mirage. A Mitsubishi Mirage takes the top spot as the worst car on the market, and it's so bad that it's being discontinued in 2025. That's saying a lot. On the surface, the Mirage seems like an affordable, economical option for budget buyers, but behind the wheel, reality hits hard. The small three-cylinder engine is so weak, it's dangerous. It vibrates constantly and struggles to keep up. Acceleration is painfully slow, and merging into traffic on the highway is a nerve-wracking experience. The handling, let's say, leaves much to be desired. The situation inside is no better. The interior resembles a tin can with cheap materials, poor sound insulation, and a complete lack of comfort. The road noise is unbearable, the seats are uncomfortable, and everything in the interior screams that it was made as cheaply as possible. No one buys these cars for obvious reasons: terrible reliability, constant breakdowns, and exorbitant repair costs. Each car on this list has earned its own bad reputation.